The Bible tells us that God accepted Abel's offering and rejected Cain's offering. It is only years later in the Bible that we start to understand why. The offering that God required was an animal offering, an unblemished animal that represented Jesus, who would take away the sin of the world. Except for cases of extreme poverty, this was the sacrifice that God required. Sacrificing an unblemished animal demonstrated faith in the gift that God would give in the form of Jesus' death for our sins and cooperation with that plan. God's acceptance of their offering had nothing to do with what each brother did for a living. It had everything to do with what God required and their acceptance of his method to save them. Cain should have perhaps traded produce with his brother Abel so that he could offer the sacrifice required. Instead of offering what God required, he chose to offer what he thought was best. By doing so, he rejected God's provision and his method for salvation. We must trust the provision and the method that God has designed. We must do as God has instructed, not what we think is best.